Volkswagen's ultimate hot hatch now comes in at over $50,000 for this Golf R. Should you save 15 grand and get a GTI, or save $5,000 and get a GR Corolla, which also has all-wheel drive? Today we're gonna drive it, review it, cross-shop it at the end, and also give it a final score. How good is the Golf R? Well, let's find out. Pop the hood here. Just one transmission option now since 2025. They killed off the manual, which is a tough one for enthusiasts. Now all you have is the dual clutch, a 7-speed dual clutch, Volkswagen's DSG. The 2-liter turbo here gives us around 328 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. All-wheel drive standard, where the GTI is front-wheel drive only, for example. I'm seeing about 25 miles per gallon in town. If you look at something like the GR Corolla, it has similar power, around 300 horsepower, similar torque, but you can get a 6-speed manual there. It's also a cheaper car. You look at the Civic Type R or the Integra Type S, that has comparable horsepower to this. Those are front-wheel drive only though, but those are manual transmission. It's too bad there's no manual here. I'm not going to shed any tears over it. I've kind of accepted it at this point. Does that stop it from being really fun to drive? Well, we'll find out here in a second. There's only 3 paint colors on the Golf R. One's one of this blue. Okay, you can get, I think it's around a $400 option for that gray paint color. And I think the other one I think is black. All right, I'll put it on the screen for you guys, but it's just a little bit unfortunate. The Golf R blue line here, you don't even notice it with this blue paint color. It doesn't stand out whatsoever. A Volkswagen logo, I believe, lights up. Also, the paint match here at the bottom is nice. I think the front end of the Golf R looks really good. The hood looks very sleek yet muscular at the same time. The headlights are real nice, daytime running light. It looks like an expensive car, but maybe not 50 grand worth. These are the standard 19-inch wheels, these machine finished ones. However, you can get optional, fully blacked out glossy ones. Also, a nice little treat is there's a R logo built into the wheel itself. Blue brake calipers with these 235 width tires. The side profile of this isn't that much different than the GTI. Obviously, it's based off the GTI. The standard package here comes with a large oversized glass roof. You have the Golf R badge here on the side. That's one of the giveaways, as well as the brake calipers and the unique wheels that set it apart from the GTI. And you have a big fat wing on the back that takes it to the next level. Quad tip exhaust here is a staple for the Golf R. You have the R badge here too. It'd been nice if this was tucked up underneath here, but I guess there's not that much room here. It looks bigger than what it is because of the added spoiler. Let's go and lift this up. There is no spare tire in here, but as a hatchback, there is a lot of functionality. You can fold down the seats, and the subwoofer is under here, which it looks like it could have a spare tire, but the subwoofer kind of takes up all that room. There's also a 12-volt accessory port back here too. But look at this practicality. Look how easy it is going to be to shove things inside. Low floor height. This is a more practical lift back than what you see on Toyota and probably even Honda's hatches. Get into the back here. I do have heated outboard seats. This is set up for me at 6'1". A couple mat pockets here, soft touch to the back. I have vents in the back. Also tri-zone climate control, which is nice. 2 USBs down there as well. Headroom's quite good. And it's not just in this one little area. It's pretty much all the way forward with this headroom. Also some map lights. I have a fold down armrest here too. There's another map pocket here. The mosquitoes are everywhere. Gosh, get out. Okay, we gotta be quick, guys. I'm already getting bitten alive. Happy summer. All right, it's comfy back here, but not great for adults for a long period. And of course, you have a drivetrain hump here to send power to the rear wheels. But let's go ahead and get into the front seat. All right, get in the front seat. I have memory seats up here. I have folding mirrors, I think, as well. Yeah, look at that. Go ahead and fold those mirrors in. That's a cool treat. Now, let's talk about this interior. Plastic touch capacitive buttons on the steering wheel. I don't like it. I'd much rather have real buttons. Paddle shifters, they're big, easy to get to. They kind of feel plasticky. Not sure if they are, but they don't feel that premium, but at least they're easy to get to. The sport modes here, the R modes, and the exhaust got a little bit louder. And if you get the additional package here on the interior, which gives you nicer seats, but it takes away your ventilated seats if you get the seat option. It also gives you an Akrapovic exhaust, which is pretty cool. That's one of the few options here on the Golf R. Okay, so we'll just go back to comfort mode here. This is a bigger screen for the last year or so. It's almost a 13-inch screen. We have the Harman Kardon sound system in here. The head-up display in here is fantastic. The screen behind the steering wheel is pretty easy to customize. A few different view angles, for example. There is maps through your cockpit area. But yeah, lots of different screens here. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. The software here is fine. I don't have any major issues with it. It's pretty quick and snappy, and I can turn off auto start stop, which drives me nuts. Okay, at least there's like a shortcut to it, and there's also way up here at the top of the screen. The AC in here is really cold. By the way, this is where it's gonna score really poorly. Like, I've been blinded by the glossy black in here a lot this week, around this area, around your shift knob thing area, your drive selector. I do have a ventilated phone charger, which is quite nice, and USBs right here. But yeah, this is just cheap looking. For a $50,000 car, this should be nicer. As well as around the steering, sorry, the touchscreen area, this has blinded me too. Like, I don't like the climate controls in here. They are pretty responsive, I'll give it that. But I'm telling you, it just needs to be physical. Like, who's messing with a volume control like this? Who does that? Okay, and the volume control on the steering wheel is not good either. So it's gonna score really bad with volume control and climate controls, unfortunately, for this car. And interior design, like, this material is fine. This should have been replacing the glossy black down here. Why can't they do that? This is just stupid how it's blinding. I have illuminated cup holder area down here though, so that counts for something, right? The steering wheel does feel really nice. The steering wheel, once you start driving, you'll see is really lock on. It's really accurate. I enjoy throwing this in the turns. Rear view mirror, it's dimming, but there's no home link connected to it. Okay, I have touch capacitive lights here. I also have an opening sunroof, again, which you forego that if you get the upgraded seats and the Akrapovic Akrapovic rear exhaust package. So with that being said, how's the seat? Is the seat comfortable? Yeah, armrests are comfortable, seat's comfortable, so it wins there. And I also have a fully electric seat here. And on this side, I want to say it's half electric. And also when you go to the nicer seats, I think it takes away some of the electric power seat controls, which is a bit disappointing if you ask me. All right, now I've talked about this interior. Let's go ahead and go for a drive. And is the Golf R a good buy? Well, let's find out. Road noise is something that the GTI struggled with, and also the Golf R. Once you're up to speed on the highway, it's going to be really loud. Even though it does well with the ride quality, it pumps in a lot of that road noise and tire noise, unfortunately, into the cabin. And hey, it's a sports car. What do you expect? So in sport mode, as I come to a stop here, the engine is fairly loud because it keeps really low gears. That's what you want. You want to be closer to the power band. And it's really lurchy when you get off the brake into the power, or not even just into the power. When you get off the brake, okay, we'll put our hazards on. The hazard button is a real physical button, go figure. But everything else in here is like touch capacitive. It's so silly. I also have another mode here if I wanted to do drive modes by pressing this button, but it's easier to do drive modes with the R button over here, okay? Brake boost, it did not want me to do brake boost. I wonder if there's a launch mode in here. We're gonna turn off, we're gonna put, there we go. ESC in sport mode, brake boost. There we go. There we go. 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. I know it can do faster than that, but 4.5 seconds, 0 to 60, and 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.81. When you're in race mode, you get a couple like farts and kicks in the coming through the exhaust, which is quite enjoyable. So it is fun to drive, honestly. Is it as fun to drive as a GTI? Yeah, it's more fun to drive, but is it 15 grand worth it? Maybe, for some people out there. And it's easier to get the power down and just have fun compared to something like a Civic Type R and Integra Type S. You overrun those front tire traction restrictions. And we use the brakes here. I love the brake feel in here. It's not the stiffest brake feel, but I mean, hearing the downshifts here in this race mode is quite satisfying. You throw it in the turns, a little bit of turbo lag. Hit the brakes. The brakes are so good. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I still wish I had a manual. I know I said I wouldn't talk about it anymore. Yes, this would be faster than manual, but this is not like a car I'd be taking to the track. It's a car that I want to enjoy on a daily basis. And yes, the DSG here is super fast. Pedal down. Oh, it didn't downshift like I wanted it to. Okay, well, let's use the paddle shifters. There it is. Oh, and you get that like bass drum pop, pop, pop coming from the rear exhaust. Yeah, it puts down the power really, really well here. And something like you could say the GR Corolla does as well. So this feels more expensive of a car when you drive it compared to a GR Corolla, absolutely. The GR Corolla feels more raw and has a more juvenile side to it. The GTI, I just feel like it comes really close to this car in comfort, and well, obviously the interior, the exterior is almost identical between the two. Handling might actually go towards the GTI. It just feels like a lighter car and a little bit more playful in the turns. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I seem to have more fun driving the GTI when I reviewed it last fall than what I'm doing here in the Golf R. You know, 50K fun, not quite sure. That's why I struggle with it, okay? It just doesn't feel that special to me. And in fact, this week I've also had a Nissan Leaf I've been driving, and I prefer to just hop in the Leaf. It's simpler, it's easier, it's not begging me to push the car to its limits, okay? And the Nissan Leaf doesn't have very high limits to begin with, but this car, it's fantastic. I feel like it would be better if you have like twisties. Obviously, all sports cars are better if you have twisties. Like, I live in Florida, and to me, it's just, yeah, the steering feel is amazing. To me, it's just like, I could get a lot of mods on a GTI for a few $1,000s, and it could come close to the sort of performance this does. Now, you know, all-wheel drive here is the big pull to the Golf R. I get it. But it's not hard to modify a GTI's 2-liter engine to get a lot more power out of it. And I really wish this car came maybe stripped down a little bit for a like 40, like low 40s. When this car starts at over 50K, it's got competition out there. I mean, not only in the Audi lineup with an S3, for example, which S3 was more fun than this car, and I've probably taken like a GTI even over an S3. Okay, so it loses its charm for me because it's so expensive and it doesn't give me much more than what I can get in a GTI. So let's get into the office, let's do some cross shopping and give the Golf R a final grade. Volkswagen Golf R, you can actually get some deals right now, being listed about 2K under MSRP. Like I said, I would like this car to be closer to about 45K. I think that's where its strength would come into, like, bang for your buck, the sort of value you're getting. But over 50K, I really struggle with the Golf R. Okay, what would I rather have? Well, what about the Audi S3? I would take an Audi S3 over the Golf R. It doesn't cost that much more. Is it worth the extra $5,000 over it compared to? Yeah, probably, but you don't get the hatchback functionality. I get it, but I did like the Audi. Now, I do think the Golf R looks better overall, but I think there's a yellow one here. Yeah, I reviewed a yellow S3. The S3 looks pretty cool. Let me know if you guys agree. Would you, if I mean, the interior has physical buttons. It's one of the few Audis left that has physical buttons on this, for the climate control and stuff, like, and physical buttons on the steering wheel. Like, I would easily pick this over a Golf R. Anyways, let's keep moving. What about GTI? Absolutely, I'd pick it over a GTI over the Golf R. You can get them for around $33,000. Look, this says $9,000 off of MSRP roughly. So what are we dealing with here? I like the red stripe on the blue. It actually sticks out. I can see the red stripe. It doesn't look that much different from the side. Obviously, it's the same base car. The exhaust still looks amazing here. Doesn't have the big wing, but you could always put a wing on yourself on the GTI. The interior is pretty much identical, except it has real physical buttons on the steering wheel instead of glossy stupidness. Wow. Okay. I can't believe the interior is better here on a GTI than it is on a $50,000 Golf R.
Wow. Anyways, yeah, I know the seat controls are a little bit fancier, but that doesn't bother me. Even have auto folding mirrors here on the GTI, the same sunroof. Yeah, so easily pick this and save a ton of money, and then you can modify if you want. What about a GR Corolla? Yes, I'd pick a GR Corolla over a Golf R. Golf R has is more refined, like way more refined than the GR, but the GR Corolla is more fun, and the 6-speed manual goes a long ways when you're talking about an enthusiast car hot hatch, in my opinion. So the thing is, yes, you can get a GR Corolla here for about $45K. I wouldn't want to spend more than $50K on a GR Corolla. I mean, the interior, yes, it's more practical, but it's really cheap interior. The seats are nice, I'll give it that, but it is a pretty cheap interior for such an expensive vehicle. I think you guys would agree. But yeah, it has physical climate control. Like it has a physical volume knob. I have a real volume knob in something like this. All right, what about a Type R? Yes, I would pick a Type R and not hesitate. I would pick a Type R and not hesitate. Even an Integra Type S, I would take it over the Golf R. I just, for some reason, wasn't vibing with the car. There's a lot of reasons why I wasn't vibing, and we'll get into why. Let's score it. Okay, I love the exterior design. Okay, interior design, I'm going to give it like a 3. And that's being generous. Versatility is it's a hatchback. It's good. Climate controls. It's slightly better. I'm going to give it a 2. It's slightly better than something like the Mazda CX-5 because it has a little dedicated panel there, but they still suck. Volume controls. I'm going to give it like a 2 here. Not as bad as a Mazda CX-5, which is inside the touchscreen. Comfort is pretty incredible here. I'm going to give that max score. Software, I had no issues with it. I'm trying to think. I'm going to give it like a 4 here. Okay. Engine, let's see here. I'm going to give it like, this is where the Golf R does really well. The engine and the transmission, like the 0 to 60 is also amazing on it, like 4.5 seconds. Efficiency was fine. How do I score the engine and the transmission here? I'm going to give it like a 10 probably. Maybe not a 10 on the transmission because it's a little lurchy, but honestly, it doesn't have the same sort of lag or lull right off the line as the GTI does, but it's really good. No issues with the engine, transmission really. NVH, I'm going to give this like a 4. The build quality is amazing. It's very quiet overall, but you do get a bit of harshness and noise coming through the tires, kind of like the GTI. Ride quality, I thought it was great. Brake feels great. Steering feels great. Handling, it does handle extraordinarily well, but the GTI just felt a little bit more fun in the turns. Okay, market value. Oh, it's not good. Okay, because I just told you I'd pick a GTI over this that costs $15,000+ less. So I'm going to give it like a 2 here. Charm bonus fun. All right, well, it can get some points here. Do I enjoy driving it? Yes. Sound system's good enough. So it gets 3 points. Does it have an additional charm to it? It does, but I'm going to give it a 4 here. It has 0 spare tire. It's 82 out of 100 because the engine and the transmission are so fantastic. And some of you guys are like, I don't want a DSG. And I would give it a 5 for the transmission because it doesn't have a manual. Okay, maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll drop it a point because I don't have a manual option. So that goes down to 81. All right, but the transmission itself is fine. So I'm just kind of nitpicking. And it's finding itself into, let's say, it's a crowded space here. It's a very crowded space. Because of performance is so good, it helps it out massively. But again, for that sort of money, I'd be buying a lot of other cars. And you got to keep in mind, last year, let's look at some vehicles here that I would take over it. Well, obviously MX-5, but that's apples to oranges. Ioniq 5N, yeah, I'd probably take that sounds crazy. That might be heresy, but once you drive an Ioniq 5N, like, what can I get it on car? I'm curious now. Oh, they're like 0 in my area, and it's also $65K. Yeah, it's apples to oranges. I get it. Here we go. GTI made it into the S tier last year, and so did the Elantra N. Would I pick an Elantra N over this? Yes, absolutely, I would. Would I pick an Elantra N over GTI? Well, if you want a manual, absolutely. If you want an automatic, the GTI is also amazing. I just love the hot. It's like a more pure hot hatch, the GTI, than the Golf R. Okay. I I would take an Audi S3 over it. Yes. So also, would I pick a Mini Cooper S convertible? I didn't even bring up the Mini Cooper. We'll look at some hardtops real quick. What about a hardtop? You can get a JCW here for less. I would pick and I haven't driven it, but more than likely, I'm about 99% sure I'd pick a JCW over a Golf R. Let me know if you guys would agree with that. But Mini Cooper S here in the yellow, I would pick this over the car we drove to. I know it has 3 doors, but you can get them in 4 doors as well. And this does only sit 2 people in the back. I get it. So, but I would pick this. I would pick this over, and look, I have some controls in here. At least I have a volume knob. All right. I'm going to end it there. So there's just a lot of cars I'd rather have over the Golf R. Let me know if you agree with that. It's a good car. It made it into a category. It's a good car. It really is. It just wasn't talking to me. Give me a GTI and, I got 15K left over. So thank you guys. Have a good day. And I'm glad the Golf R is still around. I'm happy it's still around. It's a cool car. Let me know if you agree with me. That's all I have to say. And I hope many of you disagree with my assessment of the Golf R. I didn't say it's a bad car. I say it's an excellent purchase, but there's probably 5 or 6 cars easily I'd rather have over it. Okay, I've already said that. Thank you guys. If you made it to the end, let me know. I appreciate that. Have a wonderful day and peace.